The importance of trees in Buddhism. Trees occupy a profound and enduring place in Buddhism. They are far more than part of the natural landscape. They represent wisdom, compassion, peace, resilience, and the interconnectedness of all life. From the very beginning of the Buddha's journey to his final passing, trees are woven throughout the history, teachings, and practice of Buddhism. Understanding the importance of trees in Buddhism provides a remarkable insight into why millions of Buddhists around the world continue to revere and protect them today. The most famous tree in Buddhism is the Bodhi tree, a sacred fig tree scientifically known as Ficus religiosa. Around 2,500 years ago, Prince Siddhartha Gautama sat beneath one of these trees in Bodh Gaya, India, determined not to rise until he had discovered the truth about suffering and the path to liberation. After a long night of deep meditation, he attained enlightenment and became the Buddha, the awakened one. Since that moment, the Bodhi tree has become one of the most important symbols in Buddhism, representing wisdom, awakening, inner peace, and spiritual transformation. The descendants of that original Bodhi tree continue to be among the most sacred living trees in the world. One of the oldest documented trees planted by humans is the Jaya Sri Maha Bodhi in Sri Lanka, grown from a cutting of the original Bodhi tree and lovingly cared for more than 2,000 years. Trees also played an important role before the Buddha's enlightenment. After years of extreme fasting and self-denial, Siddhartha Gautama had become dangerously weak. A young woman named Sujata offered him a bowl of milk rice, or kheer, restoring his strength. According to Buddhist tradition, Sujata mistakenly believed that the emaciated Gautama was the spirit of a sacred banyan tree that had granted her a wish to have a child. This story reflects a much older tradition in India of associating trees with fertility, protection, and blessings. Wishing for children beneath sacred trees became deeply rooted in local customs. Buddhist texts mention these practices, and similar child-wishing ceremonies around sacred trees are still performed in Myanmar today by both monks and lay communities. The banyan tree itself carries powerful symbolism in Buddhism. With its vast canopy and ever-expanding network of aerial roots, it represents longevity, shelter, stability, generosity, and the interconnected nature of life. Many Buddhist monasteries and temples continue to plant banyan trees as places for meditation, teaching, and community gathering. Another remarkable tree closely associated with Buddhism is the ginkgo tree. Ginkgo trees are among the oldest tree species on Earth, surviving for over 200 million years. Throughout East Asia, Buddhist monks cultivated and protected ginkgo trees around temples because they admired their extraordinary resilience, graceful beauty, and medicinal properties. Human care by Buddhist communities helped to preserve the species throughout history, playing an important role in its survival when wild populations became extremely rare. Today, ancient ginkgo trees continue to stand beside Buddhist temples across China, Korea, and Japan as symbols of endurance, hope, longevity, and spiritual strength. Trees have also contributed to the preservation of Buddhist knowledge itself. For centuries, Buddhist scriptures and sacred manuscripts throughout Southeast Asia were written on handmade paper produced from the bark of the paper mulberry tree, often known as sa paper. This bark creates a durable, flexible paper that has preserved Buddhist teachings, artwork, and historical records for generations. Without trees such as the paper mulberry, many priceless Buddhist texts might never have survived to the present day. Forests occupy a special place within Buddhist practice as well. Many of the Buddha's sermons were delivered in peaceful woodland groves, where monks gathered beneath the shade of trees to meditate and learn. Throughout Buddhist history, forests have been regarded as ideal places for contemplation because they offer silence, simplicity, and freedom from distraction. This tradition continues today through the forest monastic tradition, particularly in countries such as Thailand, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and Laos, where monks often live in remote forests, dedicating themselves to meditation while maintaining a close relationship with nature. Respect for trees also reflects one of Buddhism's central teachings, compassion for all living beings. Buddhism teaches that all forms of life are interconnected. Every plant, animal, and person exists within a vast web of causes and conditions. Because trees provide oxygen, food, medicine, shelter, shade, clean water, and habitats for countless creatures, caring for them becomes an expression of compassion and gratitude. Many Buddhists, therefore, see protecting trees and planting trees not simply as environmental actions, but as spiritual practices that reduce suffering and benefit future generations. In several Buddhist countries, monks have even led forest conservation movements by symbolically ordaining trees. Robes are wrapped around large trees to identify them as sacred, discouraging logging and reminding communities that protecting nature is a moral responsibility. These ceremonies have helped conserve important forests while strengthening local respect for the natural world. The Buddha himself often used trees as powerful teaching symbols. He compared spiritual growth to the gradual growth of a tree from a tiny seed. Just as a tree develops through patience, care, and favourable conditions, wisdom and compassion develop steadily through ethical living, meditation, and understanding. This imagery reminds Buddhists that genuine transformation cannot be rushed, but grows naturally over time. Ultimately, the story of Buddhism is inseparable from the story of trees. The Buddha was born in a garden surrounded by trees. He attained enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree. He spent much of his life teaching in forests and woodland groves. And according to Buddhist tradition, he entered parinirvana between twin sal trees, making trees present at every major stage of his life. For Buddhists around the world, trees are not merely beautiful parts of nature. They are seen as living symbols of enlightenment, generosity, resilience, peace, and the deep interconnectedness of all life. Their roots remind us to remain grounded. Their branches remind us to continue growing. And their quiet presence invites us to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and harmony within the natural world. Perhaps one of Buddhism's greatest lessons is that by protecting trees, we are also protecting ourselves, our communities, and the future of life on Earth. Thank you for listening.